Thank you. So here we are. Yeah, why not? When I was in, I kept blowing up the amp that I was playing with. Thank you. Thank you so much. I always think with that song, you know, it's so hard, so harsh. Hard and harsh to sing. And I said it to my friend, I said, and this song is really hard, and how do you get inside it? And they said, yeah, but don't forget what the chorus said. It says, they tried to erase you. They tried to erase you. So it's actually about resistance. This song is, it was the last song that I wrote for the record, and I wrote it when I was in from being in the Arts Bank and being in the library has 26,000 books from the Johnson Publishing collection. So if you were writing a book and you wanted Ebony or Jet magazine to review it, or if you wanted the Johnsons to pay for your PhD, you know, you would petition them and you would put a book in front of them. And so they had this huge collection of books. And most of the titles I didn't recognise. You know, I couldn't believe there was this volume of books on black subjects and written by black authors in many cases. And I was really drawn to all the different spines. They were stored in this jumble when I first saw them. You know, they weren't in subject matter order. And so I came to this book that I recognised, and it was called Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl. And it was a book that I read as a teenager. I have a big family. My dad's got 4 sisters, and 2 of them moved to America when they were in their early 20s, and so they were my American aunts, and they would send me things, boxes, clothes, all sorts of things from the culture. And they also would send me books, you know, picture books, often with young black children in. That was really hard to find in the 80s, you know, books with pictures of people who looked like me. I always really valued that. And then when I was a teenager, my Aunt Joyce sent me this book, and it was called Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl. And I read it, and it was the story of Harriet Jacobs, who was born on a plantation in 1813 in North Carolina. And it's fascinating because she writes, you know, from within herself. So she writes what it was like to be a really young child and have a mother and a father. But then as you got a little bit older, be aware that you were in this institution, that there were people higher than your parents' authority, and they controlled what you did and they controlled where you went. And you know, she talked about falling in love with someone and asking for permission to marry this person, and the permission was denied, and she never saw that person again. And she, in her teenage years, had 2 children with this white man who'd been charged by her free grandmother to kind of look after her and help her situation, and they ended up having 2 children together. But all through this time, she had this master who was, he was a violent man, and he was an abusive man. He had this obsession with her. He wanted to possess her, and he wanted her to love him. He wanted to put her in this cabin in the woods, and that he would go to be with her. And he was a terrifying and violent man. And he was also the doctor for the family and for the enslaved people that he ruled over. And there was an incident in which Harriet Jacobs realised she had to get away from him for her safety and for her children's safety. He had been put her son in a coma from some violent action when he threw this boy against the wall. So she knew she had to get out, and she knew she had to get her children out. But she knew she went north, he would find her, because he had this obsession with her. So she worked on this plan, and one morning, everyone on the plantation woke up, and Harriet was gone. She was nowhere to be seen, and the assumption was that she had gone north. But she hadn't gone north. She was hiding out on the plantation, and she was hiding out in the crawl space above the storehouse of her free grandmother's cabin. And she stayed in that place until it was safe for her to go north, and she stayed in that place for 7 years. It was a place where she couldn't stand up, but she could lay down. She could come out and exercise in the downstairs part of the storehouse with her when her grandmother knew that it was safe to do that. But she stayed there for these 7 years, and it was a wooden building, so she bored this hole in the side of the building so she could look out. You know, she could see some light in the daytime, so she could sew by, and she could see the sky. And she could see her children growing up, because her grandmother would bring them to play nearby, so she would be able to see them as the years went by. And I thought loads, when I saw this book in the Arts Bank, I thought, I want to reread this now that I'm an adult, now that I'm a mother. And it was just so brilliantly told and compelling, and it's a really, really rich story. I think one time I was trying to get to sleep, and I couldn't sleep, and I was thinking about Harriet Jacobs. and thinking about what the sunset looked like, you know, through this tiny loophole that she had made. And then how wide and vast it would seem when she eventually found her freedom, which she did. She went north and she sent for her children, and she became a very well-known abolitionist. But yeah, I think about Harriet Jacobs all the time. So this song is her song, and it's called Peach Velvet Sky. appreciate you all being here. You know, it's funny with things like this, you never know if anyone will even come. So I'm really happy that you're here. I'm happy to come say hi, and I think they're going to post me somewhere, so I guess wherever I'm posted, I'll see you guys there. And thank you again for your time.
Give it up again for BAILY. If you need the sign, you can make your way to
You too!
the left-hand side of the shop.
And a friend, don't forget a friend.
You too!